start with an overview of the Canvas course shell before we start. All right, so if you open Canvas, what you're gonna see on the inside of your course shell, you will be able to find on here on the home page. So on the home tab on Canvas, you will be able to see the curriculum divided into 4 main modules, and you're gonna have another module for each of the main 4. This is what says the assigned activities. So for the modules that you have module 1 and the module 1 assigned activities, module 2 assigned activities, module 3 and module 3 assigned activities, and finally module 4 and the assigned activities for module 4. All right, so the main place that you're gonna be using over and over on Canvas is the Home tab. This is where you can access under the modules. Those are the video recordings covering the different chapters. So when you press on any of those links, it will direct you to the YouTube video. And those YouTube videos on here gonna be covering those chapters discussed in the module. So if we're looking here at module 1, for example, we are discussing in module 1 2 chapters, which are chapter 18 and chapter 19. So you can access the video recordings for both chapter 18 and 19 under module 1. Also under the module, you're going to have the PowerPoint presentations that we're using in those video recordings. So you have chapter 18 and chapter 19, for example, here in module 1. And you're going to have the diagrams that we're using for the lab portion of module 1. Also, those are the PowerPoint presentations that are essential and necessary to study for the lab exam related to module 1. Also, under the module, you're going to have the chapters Q banks, which are sets of questions in the form of PDF files. And if you kept scrolling all the way down, you will find the key answer for those questions. So those Q banks under the modules, those are helpful sources for you to practice. And those questions are gonna be very similar to the ones that you're gonna see on the lecture exams and the quiz. So again, what can I see under the modules? I can see the video recordings covering the chapters related to the module. I will find the PowerPoint presentations of those chapters. I will find the PowerPoint presentations of the diagrams on which I will be discussing the labs. And finally, we're gonna have the chapter Q banks, which are sets of questions, are meant for you to practice and to make sure that you've got all the necessary concepts before taking the actual exam. So those are the main sources for you to study actually. You have the video recordings, you have the PowerPoint presentations, you have the Q banks, you have the PowerPoint presentations of the lab diagrams. So all those are going to be present under all the 4 modules. So in module 2, you're going to have very similar You have the video recordings of the 2 chapters covered under Module 2. You have the PowerPoint presentations of both chapters 25 and 26. You're going to have the Q banks and so forth. Same for Module 3. You have the video recordings for the chapters covered by Module 3, which are 17, 21, and 22. You have the PowerPoint presentations of those chapters. You have the Q banks of those chapters. And you're going to have a review presentation that covers the main important lab diagrams. Same exact concept when we look at Module 4. In Module 4, you're going to have the video recordings first. Then you're going to have the PowerPoint presentations of those chapters covered by Module 3. Then you're going to have the Q banks. And finally, you're going to have the diagrams related to the lab portion of the test. So what we've seen so far are 4 modules. Under each module, a set of chapters, and I'm providing you with the video recordings covering those chapters, the Q banks, PowerPoint presentations, and the lab PowerPoints. Under the module assigned activities, this is actually where you're gonna find the quizzes and exams related to this module. So we have chapter quizzes, we have lecture exams, we have lab exams, we have lab assignments that we're gonna discuss later on as well. Where can I access those from? Again, from the home page of the Canvas course shell. And in the home page of the Canvas course shell, you can easily access the chapter quizzes. So for example, chapter 18, you don't have to do anything other than complete the chapter quiz through Canvas. It's not gonna be proctored. The same will be applied also for the lecture exam. So quizzes and exams are not proctored. You can simply complete them directly through Canvas, and they are in the form of multiple choice questions. I will get to the details of how many questions, what is the point value for each of them, as I speak more in details about the course grade breakdown. But for now, just giving you an impression about what you have on Canvas. If I try to access the lab exam that says proctored here, directly through Canvas, it will ask me to provide an access code. So I can't get in to complete this exam. Why? Because simply it's proctored. What this means? This means that in order for you to complete this exam, it needs to be through this tab, not under home page, not under quizzes. You need to access it through the Smarter Proctoring tab. All right. Are the PowerPoint, I have received a question here, are the PowerPoints the same things you go over in your YouTube lectures? Yes, they are the same exact ones I'm covering in the YouTube lectures. So if you want to print them out, if you want to keep them on a tablet to take notes while you're watching the video recordings, this will be great. All right, so again, proctored lab exams can be accessed directly through Canvas. You need to go through Smarter Proctoring first. And when you get into Smarter Proctoring, at this point only, you will be able to access your proctored exams. So here I have a proctored exam. Once it's ready, once it's open for me, I can access it, and I need to follow the instructions for Smarter Proctoring, and we're going to discuss more about the proctoring exams in a few minutes. All right, so again, what can I see here when I open the Canvas course shell? I will see 4 main modules, and for each of those modules, you're gonna have an associated module under which you're gonna have the exams and quizzes related to that module. So I have module 1 with all the lectures, all the PowerPoints, all the Q banks, and module 1 assigned activities. This is where you can find the quizzes and exams related to that module 1. Is this clear? Is this clear? What do you think? Anybody is confused about anything that we've mentioned so far? All right, great. But again, where can I access the proctored exams from? Not from here. I need to go up. Just below the Home tab, press Smarter Proctoring when it's time to take a proctored exam, and I will be able to complete the exam when it's open through Smarter Proctoring. All right, I will mention all the meetings, everything about the meeting in a second when I start talking about the syllabus. All right. All right, so moving on to the syllabus. I did not post the syllabus yet for you. I waited until we discuss everything together before I post it, because I'm afraid that some of you might get confused with the syllabus. All right, so expect it to be posted later tonight or by early tomorrow. All right, what is the best way to get in contact with me is by reaching out to me through Canvas messages. You can do this by different ways. You can either press on Canvas something called on your course people here. You press on it, you select my name, you send me a message, or you can go through the inbox, and from the inbox you pull up my name and you send me the message. It's much easier to send me a Canvas message using the Canvas mobile app. So if you downloaded the mobile app on your phone, it's going to be much easier to send and receive messages and notifications related to the courses that you are enrolled in. So I highly recommend you to download the Canvas app if you didn't do already. If you decided to send me an email, please follow those regulations. One of the most important is to send me an email using your college student email, not your personal email. I do not reply to personal emails. You need to be using your college student email. Another thing, as I'm teaching a large number of classes, so in order for me to understand what your concern is, what you're talking about, I need to know what class you're attending. And the easiest way for me to recognize what class you're attending is by you adding the class day and time that you are attending. So your class is Tuesday, Thursday, 6 o'clock. So put TUTH 600. I will figure out what class you're attending, and I will be aware of what you're talking about in your email. All right, because if I don't have on hand the class day and times that you're attending, most likely I will keep it for later. All right, until I free some time to pull up all my classes to figure out which class are you attending. All right, so For me to recognize what class you're attending, you need to add your class day and time. All right, so our meeting is going to be once a week. And this meeting is going to be on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. And this is an optional virtual meeting. So it's not mandatory to attend on Tuesdays. What is the purpose of the meeting on Tuesdays? If you did already post all the video recordings for all the chapters. So the meeting's purpose is for you to address your questions that you're going to be facing or any concerns while you are reviewing the posted video recordings. So while you are covering the first week video recordings, you might have some things that you did not understand. You might have a topic that you want me to reinforce for you. So on Tuesdays, what we are actually doing, when we gather on Tuesday, I will be answering your questions. I will be explaining whole topics or specific questions according to what you need. So I will not be covering the basic knowledge from scratch. I might be discussing with you whole topics, but I will not be starting from scratch. I'm expecting you to come on the Tuesday meetings prepared with your questions. All right? Don't worry about what is the number of questions, what is the amount of information that you want me to cover. No problem. Just come, and more question is much better than less questions. All right? How about Thursday? Don't we have another class on Thursday? From my experience, when I leave it optional, what I end up with attending by myself or one or two people in the class come to this optional meeting. So I decided to wait until I see how your class gonna be behaving in terms of attending this optional session. Right? I don't want to have an optional session and only one or two people attending and have another one during the week. So if nobody will be attending, it doesn't make any sense to have two optional meetings if nobody is attending. So if we needed more time to go over more of your questions and we didn't have enough time on Tuesday, so for those people who are attending on Tuesday, in order for me to complete the discussion, we might arrange a meeting on Thursday. All right? And this is going to be decided just the Tuesday before. So let's say we're meeting today and you did address all your questions. We spent 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and we're not done with those questions yet. Some of you are still having other questions and other topics that you want me to cover. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna decide together that we're gonna be meeting on Thursday to cover the remaining questions. All right? So again, basically we're meeting only on Tuesdays. If you ask me and we needed to, we might have another session on Thursday. Again, I will not be explaining something new on Tuesday or on Thursday. Nothing gonna be mentioned new, but it will be a reinforcement of what you've already learned from those video recordings that have been posted. Do I recommend to attend? Definitely. If I didn't recommend to attend, I wouldn't have done it. All right? There is a major statistic-wise, a major difference between people who are attending those sessions and people who are not in terms of grades. Usually, people who need less time with me, they spend more time, and for the people who need less time, they need more time, they spend less time with me. All right. So it is your responsibility. You are now mature enough to recognize whether you need or not to address your questions. All right. It's very important that you actually recognize what you need. All right. Because there will be no way to tailor the course for everyone's needs. All right. So I'm ready to help. I'm available to help, and I'm willing to help, but you still need to ask me. I wouldn't be able to know that you need help if you didn't ask. All right, so keep this in the back of your mind. I'm available, I'm ready, I'm willing, but you just need to ask. All right, so this is concerning the meeting. So we've got basically one meeting a week, Tuesday, 6 o'clock, we might be adding on Thursday if we need it. So what is the textbooks that you need us to get? I don't want you to get any specific edition of the textbook. So the textbooks that I'm using to retrieve the information is the ones that you have been using for AP1. I believe all of you have been using, if you were attending FSCJ, all of you have been using this textbook. Regardless of the edition, 9th, 10th, 11th edition, all will work fine for us. There is no major differences between the three editions. Do I have to get the textbook? You don't have to, but I highly recommend it. This is your reference. This is the source of the information we're discussing. So if you didn't get a good understanding of a certain topic, where would you go and read more about it from your reference? So this textbook is my reference. All right. Highly recommend you all to have a copy. Any of the three editions will be fine. All right. If you don't have one already, you can purchase the 9th, 10th edition at a much lower price from the online stores. The required course material is going to be the visible body courseware. And courseware is a set of apps. Visible body is a set of apps that gives you three-dimensional models that kind of substitute the need for you to hold the model, for you to perform dissections. It gives you much more imagination. It facilitates your ability to understand the more complicated shapes. So how can I access it? Where do I register it? Where do I register to it? Where would I purchase the access code for it? In terms of purchasing the access code, you have two options, either to get the access code from the bookstore, which many people have told me today that it's out of stock and they will be getting more of it. I'm not sure of this information. I didn't have a confirmation. But anyways, if you decided to purchase it from the bookstore, you still can register using those 15 days, a trial period, and until you get it from the bookstore. Another option is to go directly and purchase it from the website. So you go directly, you register, you put your information, you pay. So why there is a price difference? Why is it 50 bucks if I purchase it online and it's 70 bucks if I purchase it from the bookstore? In the bookstore, they sell you a bundle, and this bundle contains those apps that you can download on your phone or tablet. If you complete the purchase and the registration through the website, you will still have access to those apps, but through a web browser. So you need to be online in order to access those apps. But from the bookstore, they give you the online version and they give you a username and password to download the same apps on your phone or tablet. This is the only difference between both of them. All right, do I need it? It's something that you decide whether you're gonna be willing to have those apps for later on. If you are a nurse and you want to illustrate something to a patient or something, might be helpful for you in the future, might not. You are the one who decides. All right, so you decide whether is it worth it, the 20 bucks to get it. Some people actually will need to purchase it from the bookstore for financial aid reasons or something like this. So it should be available. Just make sure to order it as early as possible. And again, you can still register in the meantime, even before it comes in, using those 15 days trial period. All right, so there will be no problem accessing Visible Body. What do I see inside? So it has lots of apps. Most importantly, the apps related to the vascular system and the diagrams related to the vascular system, those models. This is one of the most challenging parts that we're going to be discussing in this semester. And I see here that this is one of the most helpful tools for you to imagine the course of the blood vessels. All right, we're going to have the reproduction. It's so helpful with the reproduction as well. Not much about the urinary system. It's very helpful in terms of the structure of the digestive organs. So some chapters, it will be so helpful, others, it won't be that helpful. All right, so this is an other source for you to study. So those are not assignments. But also you need to access the Visible Body Courseware in order for you to access your lab assignments. So this is how it looks like for you when you register through the invitation link. You need to use the invitation link on Canvas on here. You see the very first module on the home page on Canvas, on the Canvas course shell. You have Visible Body Courseware invitation link. You press on the link, it opens another page. You press on the link, it opens your course. When you complete the registration, you create your username and a password, you're in. This is how it's going to look like. All right, we've got 4 units that will be matching the 4 modules. For each module, we have a set of assignments and activities. The ones that will be considered towards your lab assignment grades are the ones that state in the title that they are graded. So you see on here, this is cardiac system animation. So those are just animations for you to review. So there is nothing that you will answer. Nothing that you will answer on here. So those are video animations that explain different concepts related to the heart, for example. So you don't have anything to answer on here. what's going to be considered as part of your graded lab assignment is the part that says graded. So you've got cardiac system, graded assignment, blood vessels, graded assignments. Those are the two that will be considered towards your first lab assignment. Second lab assignment, the same concept. You've got multiple exercises which are not graded, and the ones that says graded is the ones that will be considered towards your lab assignment grade. All right. So you have many exercises, many helpful tools for you to have a better understanding of the different topics, but the ones that will be considered towards your lab assignment grade are the ones that stayed graded in the title. Those lab assignments, you have them open already, you have unlimited attempts. This is a study tool. So it's not meant to test you. It's meant for you to keep using it and repeating those exercises over and over until you master the material. So you will have them open from day 1 until December 10th. So from the beginning of the semester till the end of the semester, they are open. You have unlimited attempts. The highest score is the one that's going to be considered towards your lab assignment grade, and this will be for all the 4 lab assignments. All right, so this is, again, back to our syllabus. This is what we need to know concerning visible body. So again, textbook, it's recommended. Visible body courseware, it's required for you to be able to complete those lab assignments. What do I need to have in order to successfully complete all the online activities, having access to everything without any technical issues? You need to have a laptop or a computer that has an operating system, a complete operating system, either Windows or Mac OS. Windows or Mac OS. How about Chromebook? No, you can't complete all the tasks in this course using Chromebook. How about an iPad? You can't. You need to have a device that has a complete computer operating system, either a Windows or a Mac OS or Linux, which I don't believe like many use. All right, so I need to have a full operating system. Very important thing to keep in mind that we need to download Google Chrome, the web browser of choice for everything that opens everything, and it's required for many of them. It's Google Chrome. Something also to pay attention to is when you download Google Chrome, in order for you to not have trouble accessing the information, you need to disable your ad blocker and your pop-up blockers. And I've added something to this towards the end of the syllabus. Towards the end of the syllabus, this is explaining how to disable the ad blocker if you're using Google Chrome on Windows or Google Chrome Mac. All right, those are the steps that you need to follow in order for you to disable the pop-up blockers, because every time you're going to be using a pop-up blocker, this will prevent you from successfully opening your exams. All right, so very, very important. Pay attention to this part. I've almost added to every single proctored exam those two paragraphs on how to stop or how to disable the pop-up blocker. This is one of the common issues, one of the most common issues that face many of you while taking the exam. Also on the syllabus, you're gonna find some helpful links for software apps. Those are like Zoom. I highly recommend you to download the Zoom app rather than joining the meeting from a web browser. This will make a tremendous difference in terms of stability of the connection. VLC is a media player. Highly recommended to download to play videos, sound clips that you might be downloading for the course. Definitely a PDF reader and word processing software like Microsoft Word, Adobe Acrobat Reader, or any other PDF reader. It doesn't have to be a PDF editor, just a reader will be fine. It's very important to check your device that you're going to be using over and over. Make sure that it's compatible to not be under stress while you're taking the exam. So if I am taking the exam right now, I'm fully ready, I'm scared of the exam, and all of a sudden the exam doesn't open. So this puts a lot of stress on you. So please spend some time to make sure that the device is working fine, it's compatible, you are aware on how to connect, how to use the app. Don't just skip the instructions. So I see people who just press skip instructions. All the instructions are gone, and then they are in the exam, and because they didn't read the instructions, now they are calling me, I'm not sure why the test is not opening. Did you read the instructions? Did you follow the instructions? No. So I even don't memorize those instructions. So I'm not sure which one you did miss. So in order for me to figure out which one of the ones that you skipped, you've missed, I need to spend like an hour or so. All right, so very important to not skip the instructions. Follow the instructions. They are stated for a reason. Lab and lab supplies. You are not required to purchase any lab supplies, any specimen, or any dissection tools. It's a fully online. The visible body, in my opinion, substitutes the need for dissection. So you have a 3D models that you can move around, that you can hide parts of it. So I believe this substitutes the need for dissection. All right, so moving on to the course grade breakdown. So how our course grade is broken down on here. Our course grade is going to be out of 1,000 points. We have 10 chapters that we're covering during this semester. And for each of them, we have a chapter quiz. Each chapter quiz is going to be out of 16 points. This will make a total of 160 points. So I've got 10 chapters, each out of 16, total of 160 points. So those chapter quizzes, you have 2 attempts for each of them. you will see on Canvas that it gets graded out of 17. So I will be manually considering this grade that you will be getting out of 16 instead of 17. So this means that you've got a chance to get 1 extra credit point in each one of those chapter quizzes. So you will see that the chapter quiz is graded out of 17 rather than out of 16. But I will be manually calculating this at the end of the semester for you. So you know from now that it's actually out of 16. This is what you're going to be graded, not out of 17 as it is said on Canvas. All right. We've got 4. Again, we've got here the chapter quizzes. You've got 2 attempts. All are going to be multiple choice questions. The same structure doesn't have to be the same exact questions like your Q banks, but the Q banks will consist of all the important concepts that will be covered in those quizzes and exams. But the questions don't have to be identical to the ones that you're going to have on the quiz. So if you understand the concept, you will be able to get it right. If you don't understand the concept, you did just memorize this specific question, you might get confused while taking the quiz. All right, so the concepts are all covered by the Q banks, but please pay attention to something, that not all those questions are going to be identical to the ones that you're going to see on the quizzes and exams. All right, that's why I don't use the term study guide as a description for the Q banks. Q banks are practice tools, not study guides. All right, because study guides for many of you will be translated into those are the questions that I will see on the exam. They don't have to be the same exact ones, but they will be the same concepts. So if I got the idea, if I understand why the answer is like this, I can easily answer a similar question, asking about the same thing, but in a different way. All right, so again, we've got 10 chapter quizzes. We've got 4 lecture exams. And again, lecture exams, we've got 4 of them, 1 for each of the 4 modules. For each of the 4 modules. Each one is out of 60 points. It's going to be graded out of 64. So this means that person can get up to 4 extra credit points towards each of those 4 lecture exams. This will give you a total of 240 points. So we've got 10 chapter quizzes, 4 lecture exams, and we've got 4 live exams. And here I call them proctored live exams, just to make sure that you remember that those are proctored. So you need to access them again from Smarter Proctoring. If you try to access them directly from the home page on Canvas, it will tell you you need to have an access code to take the exam. So you need to get to Smarter Proctoring in order for you to actually complete this proctored lab exam. So we've got 4 of them. 2 of them are 2 huge lab exams, 100 plus questions on each. Those are the cardiovascular system lab exam and the digestive and reproductive system lab exam. Each of them is going to be out of 100 points. And we've got two smaller lab exams And the two smaller lab exams, those are going to be the urinary system. And the last one is going to be here, the blood and respiratory system. And again, here, those are not going to be out of 100 points. Those are covering much smaller chapters. They are much smaller exams. Each one of them is going to be representing only 50 points. So again, we've got 4 proctored lab exams. 2 of them are going to be 100 points each. And the other 2, they would be 50 points each. So this gives you a total of 300 points towards your final course grade. Anybody confused? Anything is not clear so far? All right. Our visible body courseware lab assignments, and we've got 4 of them, 1 for each of the modules. So your lucky number today is 4. So everything you have 4 of. All right. So open it on here. This is going to be the cardiovascular assignment. Again, the ones that will be considered towards your lab assignment grade are the ones that stay graded in the title. So this is assignment 1. On here, those 2 parts of assignment 1, 1 part of assignment 2. Assignment 3 is going to be here, 2 parts, and then assignment 4, 2 parts, reproduction and digestion. All right, so we've got 4 lab assignments through visible body, and those are going to be worth 25 points each. So they will make a total of 100 points. Moving on to the proctored syllabus quiz. And this is going to be due next week. This is meant mainly, so the whole idea behind this proctored syllabus quiz is to make sure that you are familiar with using the proctoring app. Please make sure you spend enough time reading the instructions, following those instructions in order for you to not run into problems while taking the actual exam. So if you open here, Smarter Proctoring, it's a proctored exam. So proctored syllabus quiz on here. It has already been opened today and it closes in a week on September 8th. All right, So while taking a proctored exam, very important, if you run into any technical issue, I'm not the first one to contact. You need first to contact the support for smarter proctoring. So you see on here, let's say I have a trouble accessing the proctored syllabus quiz. I didn't miss the due date. I still within this window on here, the exam is open, but I still can't access it for any reason. So what you're gonna do, you press support. It has an automated chatting robot on here. So you're gonna be typing, I can't complete the exam, for example. So it will give you a bunch of articles which are meaningless, all right? They are not related to what you're asking. You just skip it, press get in touch. And when you press get in touch, at this point, you're gonna actually have a human being in contact with you, all right? So the very first part here, the primary part is meaningless. You just mention, I can't access or I have whatever problem. Actually, it won't resolve anything for you. So don't stop at this point. Many of you will stop at this point and will get stressed out. All right, so don't stop at this point. Press get in touch. When you press get in touch, I don't want to press it now. This is gonna transfer you to somebody who will complete the chat with you to figure out what's your problem. After you explain your problem, he will figure out whether there is something wrong on my side or on their side or on your side. All right? I don't have the tools to figure out where is the problem. So if they figured out that I need to do something for you, they will tell you to contact me and I will be performing so and so. So they will tell you actually what I should do for you. All right. Easy, easy. All right, so please take a chance to figure out how to use the smarter proctoring. Make sure that your device is fully compatible. You run in no issues. Stick to this device until the end of the semester. Don't change it. We don't want to have surprises just on the day of the exam, please. Something else that I need to mention about proctored exams, please don't wait until the last minute to complete a proctored exam. At least give yourself 24 hours before the due date. Because in some days, I won't be able to help at all because I have classes back to back and I won't be able to answer your phone call. So if you decided to take the exam just an hour before the due date, I won't be able to help you if you run into a problem. All right, so please make sure that you complete your proctored exams at least 24 hours before the assigned due date. And it's not confusing at all. I try to make it as simple as I can, as possible. You see on here, you have only 4 due dates that you need to worry about. That's it. Or to be more accurate, they are 5. All right, so you've got the very first due date that you have. It's for the proctored syllabus quiz, and this is going to be next Tuesday. The other 4 due dates, you're going to have the due date You see on here for everything in module 1. Lecture exam 1, lab exam 1, chapters 18 and 19, chapter quizzes, and the cardiovascular lab assignment through courseware. So you have everything due on the same day. This doesn't mean that you can by any chance complete all the stuff in just one day before the due date. This is 1 month of work. So why did you put all of them together like this? For me to limit the confusion, for you to not miss due dates, to simplify things. This is the whole point. But it's not by any means telling you that you need only to study 4 days during the semester. Right? There is no way you can do it. All right. So mark down those 4 due dates. Highly important, highly important. All the exams, either lecture exam or lab exam, will be available for 1 week before the assigned due date. Mark those 4 due dates: September 29th, October 27th, November 17th, and December 10th. Those are the 4 due dates for the 4 module activities. All right. Back to our course grade breakdown. We got to the proctored syllabus quiz. This is going to be worth only 10 points towards your final course grade. We're going to have a lab assignment called the Metabolism Lab Assignment. And this is going to be under module 4 towards the end of the semester. So you're going to have to download this Metabolism Lab, and you're going to complete it. And here, the handout on here, you press on it, and this is where you're going to be uploading your completed assignment. So you're going to download the file, you complete it, and then you upload it. So let me show you how it's going to look like. This is for the Metabolism Lab Assignment, which is going to be due on December 10th, very last day of the semester. All right, so again, how do you submit this assignment? It's going to be in the form of a document that you're going to be uploading. So this is how it's going to look like. So you download the document first, and you're going to answer the questions. It's a self-explanatory exercise. It asks you to calculate your body weight, your height, the amount of calories that you're taking per day, and so on. Many other things that we discuss in the metabolism. And once you complete this, you go here in the Metabolism Lab handout. All right, so it's locked now. So let me. All right, so when you press on the Metabolism Lab handout like this, it asks you to submit assignment. You press submit assignment, you scroll down, you're gonna choose the file, and you're gonna be uploading the file for submission. Easy. All right, so Metabolism Lab handout or assignment, it's gonna be worth here, Metabolism Lab handout, it's gonna be worth 40 points towards your final course grade. One last thing, it's gonna be the virtual class activities. And the virtual class activities are gonna be worth the remaining 150 points, which are 15% of your final course grade. Virtual class activities. What are the virtual class activities and how can I complete this? How can I submit it? So while you're watching those video recordings, this is a must to watch. Those are must to watch. This is the main source of the information. So scattered during those video recordings, I'm addressing questions, random questions, and I state clearly during those video recordings that this is gonna be considered as question number 1 for the virtual class activity for today or the in-class activity for today. Question number 2, question number 3, and then you're gonna keep going with each of those video recordings. You will see them in order, so they will go by numbers in order. And I clearly state that this is question number 1, this is question number 2. I ask many questions during this session, but only few of them are given numbers, and those questions are not meant to test your knowledge. Those questions are actually going to be answered by me during the session. So you don't need to worry about getting things wrong or right. All right, but the whole idea of the virtual class activities here is for me to make sure that you are actually watching those video recordings. Because there is no way I can track that you've watched or you didn't those video recordings. So the only way to check on this is by checking your virtual class activity. So when would I submit this? You're gonna submit all of those questions in a single document, single Word document at the end of the semester. So can you show us an example on how do you want those? So the whole point is to not give you the total number of questions, all right? I don't want you to be looking for the questions. I want you to be watching the video recording and passively writing down the answer, all right? The idea is not for you to try to figure out where are the questions. It's gonna be almost impossible if you try to do this. All right, so I will not reveal the number of questions or which video recordings do actually have questions, because not all of them will have questions. All right, so example on here on how you can submit your assignment. So let me pull up completed assignments from a previous semester, just to show you how people did submit it. All right, so this is an example on here on how they were submitting the in-class activities. So here you don't have the dates of the sessions, but you're gonna have a name for the video recording. So rather than stating something like this, like a date, you're gonna be stating the name of the video recording, which is, let's say, chapter 18, part 1, chapter 18, part 2A, part 2B, and so on. So you're gonna be, rather than stating here a date, you're gonna mention the name of the video recording in which you find those questions that have been addressed. All right, and they keep going, they keep going. And again, this is a single document that you're gonna be uploading to the dedicated Canvas module. All right. So again, when do you upload this? When do you upload this to Canvas? Last day of the semester, exactly. All right, so when you start watching the video recordings starting by chapter 18, the very first question, the very first in-class activity question that you're gonna have is question number 2. So what is question number 1? It's the one we're gonna be mentioning right now. So now is the very first question of today's session here that you're gonna be adding to this Word document that you're gonna be building throughout the semester. Highly recommend to keep multiple copies of this document to not be surprised that it got corrupted or you've lost it or it got deleted a day or two before the last day of the semester. All right, keep multiple copies, keep backups of this file on a cloud storage or something. All right, so the very first question this semester I'm asking you, it's what is the letter grade of a person who got 900 points in this course, which is out of 1,000 points? And what is the letter grade of somebody who got 899? So please share with me your responses in the chatting box. Share with me your responses in the chatting box. So you've got here for 900, it's gonna be an A, exactly. And for 899, it's a B. All right, what is the letter grade? 900, it's an A. 899, it's a B. It seems unfair, but actually I state this as our very first question of the semester to make you aware that I never round up grades, even a single point. All right, you've got the chance to earn whatever grade that you want from day one, and I do not give points. You earn those points by completing your exams. I'm not the source of the points, you are the source of the points. All right, so if you want to get an A, you need to get an A by completing your exams, not by asking me to round up a grade. Because, yeah, it seems, yeah, it's no big difference between 899 and 900. It's just 1 point. But I have to have sharp demarcations between the grades, because if I did round up 1 point, why I don't round up 2 points? And if I did round up 2 points, why wouldn't I round up 3 points? So it will never end. So if I rounded up 1 point, another person will come to me with 2 points who that he needs to round up. So I can't round up any points. neither a single point. All right, clear, clear. Yes, no. All right, so this is pretty much everything I needed to mention today. What should we be preparing for our meeting next week? So get your questions ready for our discussion on Tuesday. Please complete watching chapter 18. I believe part 1, 2, and 3. But let me double check. Chapter 18, part 1, 2, and 3. Yes. So please watch until we meet next week. Chapter 18, part 1, part 2 AB, part 3 AB. All right. What else do we need to complete this week? Again, through smarter proctoring, please spend the time, watch the instructions, read the instructions, and make yourself comfortable. This is the key here. This is why in the first place you have a proctored syllabus quiz. It's too easy. All right, to answer. Again, nothing is allowed during a proctored exam except for a blank paper, right? And the pencil. Right? This is the only things that is allowed. You can't have your phone, definitely. You can't leave the room during the exam. You can't have another person with you in the room. You're not allowed to have any other sound in the room, and so on. So very important to get yourself familiar with the smarter proctoring. I highly recommend you to start working on it today before you go to bed. All right, you have multiple attempts for the syllabus quiz. All right, so at least take one attempt today just to figure out what do you actually need to complete the Proctored Lab assignment for you to be prepared for the actual exams later on. All right. Proctored syllabus quiz. Did I say lab assignment? Proctored syllabus quiz. Proctored syllabus quiz. All right, so I've got some questions on here. Maybe Sean Ivory. My name is Wendy Charles Ivory. All right, no problem. So I won't be taking the attendance by your usernames. So it seems that you did just signed in using your daughter's account. So when I collect the attendance for today, I will actually ask you to type in your first and last name to take considered towards your attendance for today's meeting. Not part 4. I believe part 4 is going to be too much for you to cover along with the other 3 parts. All right, so usually you can do more, but I don't recommend to do less. That's what I'm asking. You are always welcome to do more than what I'm asking, but not recommending that you do less than what I'm asking. All right. Any questions for me today or tonight?